Today on Everyman Driver, we have this 2023 Cadillac XT6 Sport, and we're going to take a full detailed look, including a test drive. Let's get started. All right, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's look at these exterior details of this XT6, and this is the Sport trim, the top most expensive trim of this XT6, and it's loaded out at about $75,000. Now, first of all, up front with the Sport, you're gonna get this glossy black grille. I think the Sport looks very good on this XT6, and this front end is very sleek with the LED headlights and the vertical LED daytime running lights as well. New for 2023 is this paint color. It's the Argent Silver Metallic. It's got a little bluish tint to it, a little grayish tint with this silver back tone, and I think it looks really nice, especially with these 20-inch wheels on this Sport trim and some of the black accents. You got a red caliper on here as well. So this Sport model actually does kind of play the part a little bit and look fairly sporty as well. What do you think? The nice thing about these mirrors is they have the turn signal on the outside, they can be automatic dimming, and they can tilt down when you go into reverse. Dimensionally, the XT6 is about 198.5 inches long, significantly shorter than the Escalade, but definitely bigger than the XT5 and the smaller XT4 as well. And I think it has a nice silhouette. Let me know what you think down below. Rounding out the rear, you're going to get these vertical taillights just like you do up front. They are LED, including the turn signal. This looks pretty nice back here. All-wheel drive badging, plus you've got this dual exhaust outlet, which is a little bit concealed behind that fascia. Now, the top couple trims of this XT6 are going to give us the hands-free power liftgate. So there's a little Cadillac emblem on the ground that you swipe your foot. There you go. There's an emblem right there. You put your foot right there and then it will automatically open. You can use that to open it or to close it, and you can control just how high this actually opens. And behind the third row, space is very limited, especially compared to larger 3 rows like the Escalade at 12.5 cubic feet, but there is some underfloor storage back here and a couple of little tie-down areas as well. The top trims actually do give you power folding third row seats both up and down, and then you'll get about 43 cubic feet of space, and you can power fold the second row down but not up to give you almost 80 cubic feet of total space. So this is definitely still a nice spacious area, and a lot of you will probably roll with the third row folded down and use it just as a 2-row vehicle, and then you'll still have pretty good space back here. And thankfully, Cadillac still gives you a spare tire back here under the cargo floor. Now, a quick look at the key fob. Cadillac does give us the smart key. You can remote start and run the climate controls, open the tailgate, all of the typical things, and the Cadillac emblem on the back. It is really soft right here, and I've always worried about the durability of these General Motors key fobs. If you have one, let me know. So the way Cadillac works is there's a button right here to lock it or to unlock it. It does not have the sensor in the back like some, but that's the way it works. And if it's unlocked, you get out, you shut the door, and you walk away. Then, in just a moment, once you get far enough away, it will automatically lock. Watch the mirrors. There it goes. That automatic locking function, of course, will only lock if you bring the key fob with you, and it's quite convenient. You can turn it off or on, but if you have your hands full, you get out and leave, it's gonna lock for you. Now, climbing into the front seats, first of all, over on the door, armrest is nice and soft here, braided material there, nice soft armrest there, and a little bottle holder down there. These seats will give you memory settings on here, which is always nice. And we have the optional semi-aniline leather. So this is the premium leather here with the chevron pattern. You've got the little emblem in there. These look really nice. This leather is soft and supple as well. There's not a lot of bolstering on here, so even though this is a sport model, it's still fairly flat and kind of wide seats. So whether you like that or not. One disappointment though, keep in mind this is a $75,000 MSRP price point that we have with optional seats, and you still just get your basic adjustments and 2-way lumbar. There's no thigh extension, no 4-way lumbar, no bolster adjustment, nothing like that. I'm a little bit surprised, not even the lumbar massage setting in here either. These headrests also don't move forward and backwards like some competitors, so keep that in mind. And I'm 5'9" and sitting up tall. I mean, I've got my seat pretty low right now. There's quite a bit of room in here. It's plenty spacious for pretty much anybody that I would normally have in here. Another benefit is now standard on 2023 is both heated and ventilated seats. No longer an option. Those are standard on the top 2 trims instead of an option. And our steering wheel is also heated and leather wrapped. And with this, you know, we have Super Cruise. This is also a power tilt and telescoping wheel. It's got a good amount of motion and it moves with your memory settings. Okay, now a quick look at the back seat. First of all, up on the top here, this is nice and soft. You've got the same braided trim that you do up front and soft armrest and a little bottle holder right there. The back seat configuration can be a 2-seater bucket seat like this or a bench seat. This is the optional situation right here, which makes this a 6-passenger vehicle because of the 3rd row. I'm 5'9", and sitting behind myself, I've got good foot space, I've got plenty of knee space, and there's plenty of space in the middle right here. Plus these seats get these fold down armrests, no ratcheting, but they are nice and soft. One nice thing is that we've got our own climate controls back here and heated seats. These heated outboard seats are now standard on the top 2 trims instead of an option, so that's awesome. That's new for 2023. The vents are overhead, just like the LED lights. Just below AC controls, you've got a USB-A and USB-C. Down from there, check this out. Check out this little pull-out tray. You've got 2 cup holders right there, plus an extra little storage area. These seats can move forward and backward, so keep that in mind when we get into the 3rd row. Now I have this scooted up almost all the way, and my feet are, or my knees are touching right there. These seats can also recline quite a ways back. So I mean, you can lounge out pretty good back here. And one more thing, we've got this panoramic roof overhead called the Ultra View roof. Excellent view, looks really nice for the 2nd row seats. Now getting into the 3rd row, first of all, one thing to know is on the side little pillar right here, it's nice because you can actually fold down these seats just with these arrows as well. But to get back there, let's pull this lever up here, shuffle that seat out of the way. You could go around and go into the middle, otherwise you have a little bit of space to get into the 3rd row. Now sitting behind myself, I've still got a little bit of space with this seat back, and with that one close to the front where I could still barely sit up there, I can actually put my feet and my knees there. So you could use this as a 3-row vehicle for children fairly easily, or smaller adults. We've got cup holders back here. You've even got a USB-C charging port back here. And for yourself or the cargo area, there's a 12-volt power outlet there too. A big bonus for kids and for pets is you've got overhead air conditioning vents as well. And keep in mind, this is just a 2-seater back here, but the space could work if you need it to. And I'm 5'9", like I said. With my hat on, I can feel my head touching, but without it, I can sit up tall. Now hopping inside of this XT6, this interior is pretty nice. You've got soft materials on the dash, this braided material right here. It's functional. It looks just like some other Cadillac SUVs. Everything lights up, and when you get in it for the first time in a while, this will flash a couple times for the Super Cruise. The Super Cruise light goes right there, as you'll see in my Super Cruise video. Steering wheel has good controls on the front of it. You've got everything that you need. Everything works well. Heated steering wheel, adaptive cruise control, audio settings, all of that. And you can control this digital display, control it with your steering wheel. Now, just like other GM, there's a ton of different information that you can see on here. It's really awesome, including the optional night vision, which I've got a demo of night driving with that as well if you want to see that. And go back to your information, just a ton of information that you can scroll through on here. It's awesome just how much they give you. Right up overhead is the head-up display. It is kind of a smaller head-up display, but it gives you the information that you need. One thing you'll notice is this little thing right here, and this, I told you about Super Cruise. The light for Super Cruise is right here, but you also have sensors and cameras on both sides of the steering wheel and right there. Those will flash red in my camera when we're driving potentially, and it doesn't do that in person. It's just the sensors that monitor you to make sure that they can see your face and your eyes are on the road during Super Cruise. Coming over here, Cadillac gives us a smaller screen. This is an 8-inch screen. I'm really surprised they haven't upgraded this or made it bigger. I mean, they have a big section right here, and this is like touch sensitive over here. It's not an actual button. You can have this thing park for you, parallel and perpendicular parking sensors, auto stop start, lane keeping settings over there. And then this 8-inch screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto does allow for wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And one nice thing about wireless is you've got this little slot right there to be able to drop your phone out of sight, out of mind, and it's a wireless charger. But if you don't have wireless charging, you can still plug it in with ports from the inside here. I like this system for the most part because you can control it with touchscreen, or you can control it with a command knob, little control dial, which is down here. Plus you have shortcuts for your phone, music, navigation, volume, and seeking. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the 14-speaker Bose audio system is now standard on the top 2 trims, so you don't have to pay extra for it. Let's plug your headphones in because I'm going to record with binaural audio so you can get a realistic listen. Let's plug in. Plus, when you put it in reverse, you've got the surround vision camera on here, which is an optional feature. You've got a bunch of different views. So you've got your panoramic view over on the side. You've got different views that you can change through over here, including seeing your wheel. That is really helpful, parking next to a curb. All of this is very nice, very helpful. You can even get rid of your lines for your backup camera. In addition to that, we have the optional camera mirror, this digital rearview mirror. Look, you can see a vehicle pulling up behind me and they just turned, or you can make it an automatic dimming mirror if you want to, but this gives you perfect visibility at day and night. Cadillac gives us a dual zone climate control setup right here. You can control a little bit more up there on the display, but you've got fan speed, temperature control for you and your passenger. It works pretty well. You can sync it up. You can even control the rear air conditioning controls as well from up here. Little storage area is nice to see right there. Good enough for a wallet or keys. The cup holders are one of my biggest complaints in Cadillac, at least in some of their vehicles. They don't have any accommodation. It's just one fixed size. So if you have a wider bottle, good luck. If you have a real skinny one, it's going to wobble around. I don't know why they do that. The new Escalade isn't like that, but it's kind of annoying. This is a two-tiered center console. There's actually a little storage area down below and a 12-volt power outlet down there too. Plus, Cadillac gives you a locking glove box, soft opening, and softly lined. And you already saw this earlier, but you've got this ultra view panoramic roof. Looks really nice. Something that is an optional upgrade. And we even have, as part of our package here, this suede headliner. Looks nice. Just kind of gives you this premium vibe in here. And just want to check the visor first of all, pop out, and it can slide. Great coverage. Now, visibility in this 3-row, let's take a look. Second window is not bad. Third window, that headrest takes up a good amount of space. You can fold those third row headrests if you want to. Visibility, not terrible. Under the hood, nothing changes for this XT6, and it's not quite as powerful as some of you might want or expect in a 3-row luxury SUV, especially compared to some competitors. But under the hood right here, you still get this decently powerful 3.6-liter direct injected V6 with 310 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque, paired with a 9-speed automatic and 0 to 60 in just under 7 seconds. This engine does go between 6 cylinders and 4 cylinders, alternating with cylinder management to try to help with fuel efficiency. It's still not great, but with this all-wheel drive, it's 17 city, 24 highway, and 20 combined. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Cadillac XT6, going for a quick test drive here, and I want you to get a point of view drive, get an idea of what it's like to drive this Escalade, or excuse me, this XT6. So first impression, I have driven the XT6 on a couple of different times, and this time around, I feel like this transmission has been nice and smooth. A little bit of pedal. The transmission drops down pretty quick, and I've had similar experiences with that XT5 and the XT4 that I've also driven recently, and they've all done a pretty good job of being smooth and responsive. This V6 may not be on par with some competitor luxury vehicles, especially at this price point or 3 rows, but it still does a good job. It's responsive, and it's going to be plenty for most people. The handling is also okay. It's sharp enough. It's not performance oriented, but it's going to be good enough for most people. You do have a sport mode. You've got a couple different modes, so drive modes, all-wheel drive, tour, sport. I just put us in sport. It's going to automatically keep us in all-wheel drive and keep those RPMs elevated a little bit. Kind of hustling the corner a little bit. It does fine, especially for a 3-row. It feels very well planted. Pedal down. Even has a nice little sound to it, at least in my opinion. So obviously most of you aren't going to be driving it like that. On a day-to-day driving aspect, it's been functional and easy to live with. The screen is easy to read. All the controls for your information there are easy to see. You have a head-up display if you want it. I love being able to touch the screen or use a command controller down here. They both work just fine. One thing that I also really like is the optional digital mirror up here. Excellent visibility out the back, and the Super Cruise, which I have a video detailing just how well the Super Cruise works. Eyes on the road, hands-free driving. It's pretty awesome. Now in terms of road noise, this XT6 is about average. It's right on par. It's just a tad, maybe just a tad quieter than that XT5 I recently had. It's not the quietest three-row luxury vehicle I've driven, but it's quieter than what most mainstream three-rows are going to be. Ride comfort is fine. It's not excellent, but you know, for a Cadillac, I think it does a nice job. It's quiet enough, comfortable enough, and it soaks things up pretty well. You're going to get a little bit harsher ride with bigger wheels, depending on which wheels you have, but it does a pretty nice job. So to wrap things up on this XT6, fairly responsive powertrain. It's fairly quiet, got a decent ride, just not a showstopper or super impressive in any one particular thing, except this Super Cruise. Be sure to check out that video. So to wrap things up on this 2023 XT6, not much is different for 2023, a little bit more standard features, different paint colors, typical stuff from GM. But what do you think of this XT6 as a three-row alternative to the bigger and more expensive Cadillac Escalade? I've got a video of the Escalade also in the description if you want to compare the two. It's quite a bit more expensive, it's also quite a bit bigger, it's more powerful, and just more luxurious overall. But if you want to save some money, you still want the Cadillac appeal and the luxury you get with this XT6, this is not a bad choice. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a thumbs up would be super helpful, and subscribe for more videos. Have a great day.
One final note, if you are in the market for a new vehicle soon, great. Connect with your local dealership and price and test drive at least 3 different vehicles. A vehicle's strengths and weaknesses can only be discovered when you are behind the wheel. My reviews can be good, but you need to test drive these yourself. Visit quotes.everymandriver.com, select the make, model, and your zip code, and you'll get invoice pricing in your area on those vehicles. Shop smarter with price quotes at quotes.everymandriver.com.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.